Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth here, the Faculty Librarian for the Agri-Sciences faculty at Stellenbosch University, and welcome to our last video in our Literature Review series, Writing the Literature Review. As a recap, have a look at the steps of a literature review. Each step is covered in detail in each video, but just know that this is the process and the steps that you will follow. You've got your literature, you've mapped and you've themed, evaluated and critiqued. All that's left to do now is write. Now, if you have been following all these steps, a lot of the structure around your writing will already be there and it will make your life a lot easier. When you write, you start to create understanding within yourself. Think about doing summaries of your work for your exams. The making of the summary helps you to know and understand your work. It is the same with writing your review, but you also need others to understand what it is you're writing. So to get that right, you will write, reread and evaluate what you've written, and then edit it so that it makes more sense. It's also very useful at this point to get a proofreading buddy, a classmate or colleague who will quickly tell you if it's not understandable. You can also help them out by doing their proofreading. Academic writing is a skill that has to be developed and a habit that you have to get into it. Just sit down and get some words on paper, even if you jot bullet points down under headings, or you start in the middle and go back to the beginning. Getting words onto paper is the most important part. You'll be editing it in any case, so it really doesn't need to be perfect. Make sure that you write early, you write often, and you draft. When you read through your work, make sure that you have one point that is coming across, your research question. You need to relate everything to that, and we call that the golden thread holding your work together. Structuring your document well with good headings makes the reading of it a lot easier. It adds to the flow of the document. Often it's very easy to see if a person has done their research properly just by looking at the bibliography. A good bibliography will show you that you've done your homework properly and grounded your study in academic research. Things you should avoid doing specifically: do not quote big blocks of text from an article. You need to show that you've critically thought about the article. If you've summarized it in the literature table, you will easily avoid this pitfall. But if not, make sure that you are paraphrasing your articles instead. If you absolutely must quote a line, keep it to that amount or pull out just the exact phrase you want. The best paper can be hidden behind bad presentation, and things like bad formatting, bad structuring and bad referencing make it very difficult to read a paper and can mean that your ideas, however wonderful they are hidden. Don't let your paper be a diamond in the rough. Polish it up and let it shine. Lastly, never refer to a secondary source. If an article refers to another article that seems good for your study, you need to make the effort and go and find that article. You may find yourself otherwise accidentally quoting an article that actually has very little relevance for your study, and the person who used it initially may also have interpreted it incorrectly. Make sure of what that article means by finding it and using the original article instead of relying on somebody else's interpretation. In other words, avoid the academic broken telephone game. I'll cover some basic outline now that should help you with structuring your literature review. The introduction to your literature review should explain the focus and establish the importance of the subject. It should discuss what kind of work's been done and identify any controversies. It can also provide background or history, and it can also conclude with a purpose or thesis statement, namely your research question. The body of your literature review needs to be divided by headings and subheadings. It summarizes and evaluates the current state of knowledge in the field, notes major topics and themes and the most important trends, and it will contain any findings about which researchers disagree or agree. In your body, it may be useful to note what your paragraph structure should look like. Your first sentence is your topic sentence, which says what the paragraph's theme is. After that, your next sentence or two sentences will expand on what you've said in your topic sentence, bringing your literature in here. You can also use the literature as evidence for what you are stating about the position. The last sentence needs to link to the theme or topic in the next paragraph. How do these two topics relate to each other? This will make you sure that your writing is a lot easier to read. You've already done a theme mapping out using your literature synthesis table and your mind map, but when you write, you just need to keep in mind the order in which you group these themes. Don't put the reader at the end or the middle. Make sure that you give them enough background about your topic. So go from the general to the specific when you write. When you put your headings down, it's always good to have a look to see if they go from the general to the specific, and if not, rearrange them so that they do. You can see with this example how we go from the general, which is proteas, to the specific topic, so that when the person has read your literature review, it makes it seem like your study is needed to give that golden thread, that research question you've emphasized, a definitive answer. Lastly, your conclusion summarizes all the literary evidence that you've presented, and it shows its significance in terms of your research. Your review should lead to your research, so it should read like a scholarly introduction and argument for your research. It highlights all the gaps, and it indicates how previous research has led to your research project and your chosen methods and experiments. And that's it. At the end of the series, you should be well equipped to write a great literature review. Good luck, and thanks for watching.